Hello. Yes, we get started now because it's already 11:40. Any one of you wants to manual or how many of you attending? Let me see. 8, including myself. There's about 5 people still missing. Are you guys still at the event? Is it the CGS event? Is it? Yeah, we will get started because the classes will be recorded anyway. So those people who are late can actually join. I mean, can actually go and listen to the recording later, lah. Nick Man, are you here, Nick Man?
Yes, Dr. M.
Yeah. On the absent list, I don't have your name. So it means that you are not registered with this particular course. Have you checked with Dr. Lim on this matter? Did you do your registration the other day?
Yeah, actually, this one is last minute registration.
Have you done it yet? Because your name is not in the class list at all.
Later, I will check it, Doctor.
Yeah. When did you register?
About 2 weeks ago, around 10 days ago.
10 days ago, 2 weeks ago. Then you shouldn't be late registration, right? Did you properly register for all the subjects? Like, you click on the subjects and there is a registration slips that comes out that shows that the subject that you're taking.
I think
Did you
no, I
do that
didn't.
step?
No, I didn't do that step.
My dear, if you don't do that step, that means you're only registered as our student. You're not registered into any of the subject, meaning that even if you sit for all the classes, you can't take exams later. There will be no result
Oh,
generated for you.
okay.
Okay, this is very serious problem. You've got to sort it out because this is already week 2. Supposed to be beginning of this week. The registration for everything is closed already. You need to pay 200 ringgit to register for all the subjects. And if you still don't do that, the result will be you are not registered in any of the subject. Okay.
Okay, understood.
Let me show you the registration slip, how it looks like. You hold on. Did you do something like this? Nickman, did you do something like this? Did you get this? Something like this, like KNM, project management, quality management, core, you know? Did you do up to this step?
No, doctor, no.
Oh no, oh dear, oh dear, it's very bad. Okay, so you better go and settle this. Go and talk to Dr. Lim on this matter. You should be getting something like this, like a name, you know, no Nickman, matrix number, Masters of Science in Engineering Management, and then you're supposed to click on the subjects that you're taking this semester. Okay, so go and take a look at well, if you're missing it, because for sure on the attendance list, you are not registered into this particular subject at all. Okay. Did you have the same problem with other subject as well, like research methodology and all that?
I think yes, doctor.
Yeah.
Later I'll talk to liaise with CJS about this and try to contact Dr. Lim.
You contact Dr. Lim first. You tell her that you didn't register for any subjects. Okay. You have to inform her ASAP. Yeah. And then after that Monday, you ask her whether if she may be the one that needs to go to CGS and ask whether they can reopen it for you, or you just directly, because I'm not sure the date of late registration, whether it will end this today or tomorrow. You see, if it's ending today or tomorrow, it means that you can't even register for this semester at all after this. That is a big problem. Okay.
I need to. Okay.
Okay, huh? You just yeah. Luckily we detect your problem here. All right. Let's get started. Anyone else doing the QR? Anyone else needs to do QR attendance? I will tinker her lah, huh? Also for you. Oh dear. I normally make sure that all my students show me their attendance slip lah, so that's why nobody miss out on anything here. No more? Anyone needs manual attendance? Okay, I also informed Dr. Lim on this matter already. Okay. Right. Let's get started. No one needs QR. Where is the rest of the people? Huh? Do I shut this thing? So bothersome. Bear with me for a second. Everyone can hear me clearly, huh? Can see me clearly also, huh? I will off my video later on when the class start after a while, huh, in case, huh? The line is slow by the video. I can't get this thing to go away. Oh, wait, huh? What's this? Okay, yes, let's get started. All right, in case you don't know me, I am Dr. Ting from Civil Engineering Department, same department with Dr. Lee that you've met last week. Both of us will be taking you guys fully for this particular subject. So basically, you are just referring to the two of us as we move into the semester for this particular subject, okay? You will be seeing me quite a lot, actually. I think some of you already know me very well because you've sat for some of my classes. Victor, you are the old person here already, Victor. How are you, Victor?
I'm good, Doctor.
Good, yeah, passing everything, doing well, finishing,
Yeah, so far okay lah, on track.
On track. Good, 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 good. All right, so my name, I'll put it in the chat box, okay? And I'll put my email address there as well. And of course, you can also find me in the WhatsApp, okay? Which is available, in the group WhatsApp with the students, okay? So this is my email, so you can look at the chat box, okay? I'll be taking you for project management, like almost me and Dr. Lee will be fully taking you for this. And then I'll be doing about 2 classes with you for quality management, which you'll see me in week 5. Then after that, next semester, I'll see you another big semester, another long subject that you'll be seeing me in legislative and also contractual administration, contractual management, contract management. Okay, so yeah, there are some people that I don't know at all here. There are some that I already know. Your name looks really, really familiar. Riley is another one. Hi, Riley. Okay. Are you around, Riley? Hi. Holding up well. Graduating soon, I hope.
Yeah, hopefully.
This is your last sem, kan?
Yeah, this is my final ride lah, last semester.
Okay. How's your research project finishing? Doing?
So
Sem,
far
is it?
okay. I'll meeting Dr. Ambrose next week lah for the progress lah.
Yes, yes. I am not your external examiner. I'm your oral examiner. Now I remember that.
Yes, yeah.
Okay, okay. And
Yeah.
I think there's a few of my civil students as well in the group, but I'm not quite sure which one is which. Sorry if I don't really remember your name. Afika, are you our old students?
Yeah, doctor.
Yeah, from civil,
Last
right?
time, yeah, from civil.
Okay, okay. This is your first sem, correct? No?
Second sem. Last sem, I take my elective.
Oh, yeah, because I didn't teach you last sem. Correct, correct. Okay, no problem. Okay. So then Lee Jun Tek, Melissa, I don't think I know you. You're probably not from Unimas or from other department, maybe. Okay, right. Okay, so now this particular subject that we are doing, okay, for those of you who knows me already, I think you already know my question styles, my assignments and all that. So again, for those of you who are not familiar here, I will be doing, there will be, in the schedule, there's 12 weeks, okay, 12 weeks of 3.5 hours per lecture. I think not only I can't talk for 3.5 hours, I don't think you can listen to 3.5 hours with me as well. So you will see that for project management classes, for these 12 weeks, all the classes will be not so long, not up to 3 hours, okay? And but me and Dr. Lee, we are going to be preparing a separate recording on the certain topics with you, and that will be extra hours there to complete all the learning units, okay? So don't get too worried about the length of the lecture, because the length will be long. It's listed in the timetable, that hours, okay? But what we will be doing is, like I say, for me, I will be giving you, like we will attend classes every week. And on top of the classes, I will be giving you extra sessions via recordings, okay? And those extra sessions will be at least 60 minutes, will be at least sometimes 60 minutes, sometimes 80 minutes, depending. I should have about another extra two 2 sets of recordings with for you all to sort of like make the course a bit more robust and a lot more fruitful in that sense lah, huh? Yeah. Okay. This week's lecture is actually still on the fundamentals. And I don't really want to go through too much of fundamentals with you guys because I think you all are practicing engineers and none of you are actually like really new to engineering. So I don't think we need to really go through so much of our fundamental things with you guys. So I will move on very soon. Even today, I'll probably start off with scope management with you already straight away. And then with the extra weeks and all that, I'll be giving you things on value engineering as well. Okay, and also LCC, which is not life cycle costing, which is not in the syllabus as well. These are all part and parcels of scope management. And yeah, and then I'll be also giving you extra sessions on procurement management. I think some of you went through some classes with me in legislation. So this is not as deep as I mean, in legislation classes, we actually went through something, but in procurement classes, I will also be giving you things on tendering, on contract, you know, and also on not so much on contract, but more on the tendering, procurement, management, and also choosing the right contract, you know, and looking at the contract documents. The actual looking at the contract documents and reading the contract clauses and all that, that one we will cover in legislation and contract management. So basically, there will be, you know, a stretch before we reach contract management that I'll be covering with you guys in procurement management. So there will be some extra session on those, which I will put via recording. So altogether, you will still get that many hours, but that is just that one sessions we don't do so long. You know, it can be very mind tiring and mind boggling for a lot of people, I think. I mean, I can talk for 3.5 hours. Does not mean that you can really fully absorb for 3.5 hours. So I hope you guys can, you're okay with these sort of arrangements, right? So every time we have a class, we will have it for about should be about 2 hours. Then we will do some discussion on assignments and see, you know, look through your assignments and see how you are going with your assignments and with your projects and all that, so that you can really score in your projects and assignment and do well in your project and assignment, so that you don't have to be so stressed out for exams later. Yeah, then it will go on for about 2.5 hours normally. Yeah, then after that we will have like maybe extra 1 hour, you know, that we will make it up with you with some recording sessions, okay, that you can listen to at your own leisure lah, normally. Yeah. All right, any questions so far with the structure? No? Fine? Don't be shy, okay? You all are old. Some of you are old people here already. You know me, yeah? So, yes. All right. Okay. Okay. Right. If there's no more questions, we'll move on to today's class. I think Dr. Lee covered with you what is what are the very fundamental things, which I believe. Let me off my video because I don't want it to be slowing down my lines. Sometimes with the video, when I talk, it can be a bit lagging. All right. We have gone through project management. What is project management? I think Dr. Lee has went through with you what is project management. She has also gone through with you what is project. I think because you have to understand that me, Dr. Lee, Puan Rohaida will not be taking you guys at all this semester. She's away. So me and Dr. Lee, all of us are actually from civil engineering. So if your industry are actually related to civil engineering, you will find all these classes a little bit more geared towards construction and a little bit less towards things like manufacturing. and also electrical and electronics engineering, like telecommunication and all that. So, but on the basic surface, normally project management are actually a lot more heavily used by civil engineers as compared to the other engineering field. Maybe IT, maybe manufacturing, mechanical, yes, maybe electrical, yes, I would say they would also touch on project management, but not so much on electronics, not so much on maybe business aspects, like some of you are actually from more of a manufacturing business, and all that kind of background. All right, so yeah, so we are trying to fit everybody into the picture with our examples and with the things that we give you. Okay, so those of you who are in civil engineering, you probably feel like this makes sense to you a lot more, like you really feel like it makes sense to you. But some who are from manufacturing, you'll be realizing like, I'm not so sure if I actually apply this in my workplace, you see. But it is okay, you will eventually, I would say. And yeah, I mean, like, project management is a knowledge that I think Dr. Lee went through with you. There's 10 body of knowledge, and that is usually general. These are general among civil and among engineers, not only civil engineers. Okay, and what is a project, and what is management, and what is management function. And then when you apply management into a project, you're actually essentially carrying out what we call a project management task. And not all of you will be project manager. Some of you are already a project manager, but project manager, usually we would say it takes about at least a 10 years kind of experience before you are being elevated to the position of a project manager. Okay, and but project engineer, the engineers that carry out the work on site or in the project environment, you do use project management techniques, and you do use project management tools, and also knowledge in that sense. Okay, and yes, but you don't have a title of project manager, but you are doing the job of project management. Okay, so that's why it is very important for us to understand project management, because it is a very powerful tools. There's a lot of tools and techniques and knowledge available for you all to be embarking. When you're embarking onto a project, you will see that you actually come across the knowledge a lot. Okay, because all projects wants to be completed, even if you're in IT, even if you're in shipping, even if you're in oil and gas, if you're embarking onto a specific project like building a platform, or drilling over certain months or whatever, you will generally have to also do use this knowledge of fulfilling time, cost, quality, and scope of work. Make sure that your scope of work are actually well done, well carried out, and fulfilling the requirement that is set down by the client, you see. So it's the same thing, even though the areas of project management are like whichever background we are from, but when you're running the project, the goals are always the same. You want to deliver the end product, you want to deliver the project on time, on budget, with the quality requirements specification set and within the scope of work that was being designated. So you see, this is what project management, we have got scope management, we've got time management, we've got cost management, we've got quality management, we've got procurement management, because procurement is a very big component that will materialize the project. This is where you choose your contractor, you choose your builder, you choose your suppliers, you choose the service provider that will actually come and do the job, do the physical work for you to deliver the project at the end of the day, to deliver the product at the end of the day. So basically the goals and the objectives, and they are all the same, you see. So depending on the industry you are in, they may differ a little bit, but the essence of it is still the same. So you see, that's why the body of knowledge is applicable across different industries. Okay, and like people in IT, for example, if they're being given a project to install a system, okay, in a bank, a new a new system of a new security systems in the bank. You know, they also have a product, they also have a specification that they need to fulfill. There is requirement from clients, okay? And there are also timeline. You know, the system needs to be up within certain period of time, okay? And then there is a budget for them to do the work, you see? And then they also have to engage maybe different service provider, work with different service provider, or work with different people. Sorry, you hang on for a second. Oh, sorry, I've got a bit of a hiccup here. Okay, yep, so today is the first day of class. Bit kalang kabut here. Running out of batteries, my laptop. Give me a second again. Okay. All right, and yes, so like I say, whatever we went through last week with you, those are the basic fundamentals, you see. So you need to understand what is a project. I mean, like whatever you're doing, are you doing general business or are you doing project management? You have to be very clear. So project has its own definition, okay? And then the management is general. Management is like an application of the functions of management. It can be applicable to general management if you're running a tuck shop, if you're running a canteen, if you're running if you're running a supermarket, you know, you're running a restaurant. The word management is actually very general. You know, everybody do that. You know, if you're a manager, if you're management in management, you need to do planning, organizing, execution of the management plan. You know, you need to do control, monitoring. Those management knowledge are actually very, very general. The project bit is very specific. So if your work in your office, in your site actually qualifies it to be a project, and you're applying the idea or the knowledge of management, the functions of management into a project, over the project life cycle, you are actually doing project management. You're not doing general management. General managements are very static. It's very repetitive. It's very day in, day out. You have a fixed SOP procedures, whereby project management is very dynamic. Because every project are different. So when you face with one project, there are a set of problems and there are a set of decision making that is required, can be very vastly different from when you have general management. When you're running a supermarket, for example, the system is the way that it's being run, the problem that is being created are generally very specific, very almost same day in, day out. Maybe it's things like, oh, your workers have to come in on time, you know, they have to punch the card, you know, and then you need to monitor them, you need to monitor the stock, you need to monitor if the stock level is low, what do you do? You see, so it's actually very, very repetitive. It's actually a lot of SOP in place to do general management. But when it comes to project management, is because of the site environment, because of the project nature, because of the timeline that is being given to the project, the cost that is being given to the project, the budget that is being given to the project, it can be very dynamic. And then there are always different people working in the project with you. You hardly get the same group of people being repeated in the project again and again. You may have a few colleagues that is with you all the while. You have your own team of people that you're representing from the client side, but your consultant can be different from project to project. Your contractor can be different from project to project. Your service provider can be different. Your supplier can be different. The nature of your work is different. You know, sometimes you build here, sometimes you build, you know, in Lawa, sometimes you build in Kuching, sometimes you build in Cebu. They are all very different. Okay, so for manufacturing people or for IT people, your clients are very different. You see, their requirements are very different. You see, and whatever they want, the product that they want can be very different. You see, the quantity is different. The specifications aspects can be very different from client to client, from requirement to requirement. So that's why project management is a very interesting knowledge. People sometimes get very confused with, general management with project management. So I hope you can get it really, really specifically, clear on this. You see, I think with people like Riley, you all, maybe Nick Munn also, I think I read your profile before. You applied to our MANG before. I think you're a very experienced person in construction, in all this project management. Am I right? Yeah. Yeah, so Victor, you all have been working in the industry. I'm sure you've dealt with project management before. Okay, so but for those who are actually more fresh graduates, I think you probably have learned this in your undergraduate studies before. So also we do not want to spend too much time on the fundamentals, because I believe that you all already have some knowledge on the fundamentals. Okay. So right, so that is the difference there. So there, of course, Dr. Lee went through with you time, cost, quality, scope of work, and how's the relationship between time, cost, quality, and what does a project manager do. Basically at the end of the day, we want to drive, we want to push all our resources, we want to push all our capacities and our workforce, and our capital, and then towards fulfilling the project requirement, the scope of work. And when you do that, you want to deliver, there will always be time requirement, budget requirement, and specification and quality requirement. So that's why the objective or the goals or the mission of every project is basically time, cost, quality, and scope of work. So basically these are the common things. These are very common. I'm not saying that it is all it is to it, you see, like you only need to care about time, cost, quality, scope. No, because there is, on the basic, there is a lot of different clients will have different requirements. Some of them are very strict on time. Some of them are very strict on budget. Most of all of them will be very strict on budget, I would say. But there will be some that will be more concerned with the look of the project, the quality of the project, the publicities that is attached to the project. They'll be looking at whether it is a landmark project. They'll be looking at integrity. There will be many other things. There'll be things like occupational health and safety that some project will be looking at, you see. So not all the time we're talking about TCQ. Yes, those are the fundamentals. Almost all project will touch on TCQ, which is time, cost, quality, but it is not all it is to it. There is other things, that will come into your management, what you call the management requirement of your project, because that is the requirement being projected to you by the client, or required or specified to you by the client. Okay. And so you understand project, you understand management. The marriage of project and management is called project management. And then you know why you do project management, because you want to drive the resources, you want to drive the project, you want to drive everything that you have within your capacities towards completing the scope of work within the time, cost, quality specifications that is being given to you. So that is the fundamentals. Okay. Then every project, you have to understand that every project have a life cycle. Okay. And why do we need to understand life cycle? You're saying that, what's the point of life cycle? What is the point of understanding project life cycle? Okay. Everybody, everything, like human being, all living things have a life cycle. A frog has a life cycle, a dog has a life cycle, a cat has a life cycle, a chicken has a life cycle, So we human beings also have a life cycle. So as a project, it also have a life cycle. Okay. And when it comes to project life cycle, there will be it is a series of stages of a project that start that will have to be achieved. It will go through different stages towards that end, towards the end, or towards completion. And that completion does not only mean that the project is finished, but also means that it reached the end of its useful lifespan. Okay, so how does the project start? The project will always start with needs and demands. If there is a need, there is a demand, you need to study the needs and demand. Okay, and project life cycle, a very big portion of it is what we call scope management. Okay, you are actually coming up with the scope of work. So we understand that a project has a finite timeline, meaning that it will have a start, it will have a completion date, it will not go on forever. But a project life cycle can go beyond just completion. It will go towards things like maintenance, rehabilitation, operation, letting the project commission and run, and making it useful over the lifespan until towards the end, whereby you are doing rehabilitation, recycling, and then the project will change nature. So when the project changed nature, meaning that, let's say I give you an example, Fort Margarita, many thousands, many hundreds, not thousands, years ago, okay, we're looking at Fort Margarita as a fort, is supposed to overcome enemies. It's being built to fight off enemies, and it has cannon, it is for war purposes, okay. Then after that, it changed its purpose into becoming the house of the residents or whatever, or it now it becomes the house of the what is our TYT, for example, okay. Then later on, it may become a museum, you see. So the purpose of the same project can change, okay. So, but from the beginning, whereby when there's a need to build a fort to fight the enemies, to overcome forces that is coming to attack, that is the first need, okay. Until the point that the fort is being built, that is completion of the project. And then after a few, like 100 years later, after it's in operation as a fort, there's no more enemies anymore. It changed into a residence, it changed into a household, it changed into a house, for example, a living quarter for the TYT. So the moment that it changed into the purpose of changing that specific project, that fort, you are having a new life cycle already. So this new life cycle says that, okay, now from now onwards, well, let's say from 20 something onwards, it becomes the house of the TYT, the highest leader of Sarawak. Okay, so then we need to build it, we need to renovate it, we need to recycle it, we need to rehabilitate it, we need to upgrade it, we need to add in things, we need to strengthen it. That is a new need. The new need is to change the project to the house of the TYT. Then maybe after another 50 years, it becomes museum, for example. So then it is a new status. It is a new status, it's a new need, it's a new demand. Okay, so this cycle will go on and on. And why do we need to know project life cycle? Because the application of project management, the management knowledge, it is applicable at different stages of the life cycle. In the beginning, from the needs to the conceptualization to the design, these are stages where we talk about the project life cycle. It's like human babies, it's like human toddlers, it's like young child, it's a young adult, you see. So all these cycles of conceptualization, preliminary designs, these are actually the knowledge that we are very concerned here will be scope management. We need to define scope of the work. Without it, everything else don't talk anymore. Habis cerita sudah. Finish story. There's nothing to talk about. You need to know the scope of work. So in the project life cycle, from the needs, why do you need to know, why do we need to start this project? Whenever you start a project, there's a lot of money involved, there's a lot of workforce involved, there's a lot of effort involved. And those efforts can last for 5 years, can last for 3 years, it can last for 18 months. It is a lot of work involved, a lot of resources. It needs engineers, it needs architects, it needs mechanical engineers, it needs electrical engineers, you know, it needs surveyors, you know, it needs the government authority body. You are actually involving a lot of things. So why start a project? Okay, anyone else want to put in some, you know, just not me talking only, anyone wants to put in your thoughts on this? Okay, especially those of you who are not from the civil department. Okay, right? So you know, it's like your needs can be something that your, let's say your factory, they receive an order, they receive the client call you up and say, I want you to help me to do this standard kind of production. Let's say you are working for flour making tepung, you know, then there's a request that comes in that, you know, my product, I want you to come up with this sort of specification. So then the client are coming into you and say, this is the needs and demands. This is their needs and their demand. And then you are going to design, you know, your production line, your system to fit that needs and demands so that you can produce, you know, 1,000 tons of flour, you know, in the next 4 months or 5 months or 6 months or in the next few years, for example. And this production line is for this particular client. I don't know if I'm correct in that sense or not, you know, but correct me if you're wrong, if I'm wrong, especially for those of you who are actually in manufacturing. Okay, right. So you need to start off. So a project, it says to complete when it finished the objective. You know, like the given objective is done already, but the project life cycle is actually a lot more longer, a lot more to it than just construction, than just building, than just carrying out the work from start to completion. So like I say, in the earlier stages, we're very concerned about the scope of work. We want to make sure that, you know, our design, our final product is actually really what the client wants, what the paymasters want, or what the public usage is, you see. So like, for example, civil engineering project, you don't want to go and build a dam, you don't want to go and build a road, you know, you don't want to build a jetty or wharf just like that. People ask you to do, you do. It cannot be like that. It has to be well thought through, you know, it has to be it has to go through certain SOP, certain processes for you to come up with the complete scope of work, you see. So scope management is really for the earlier stages, whereby you need to understand the needs, the demands, and then you also need to understand how to come up with the conceptual report, and then feasibility report, and then also preliminary design report. So these are the things that we want to make sure that is in place for us to fully describe the scope of work before the design actually starts. You see, when the design starts, you are actually already in the planning, is in what we call the planning phase of the project. It's a third phase of the project life cycle already. Okay, whereby you are checking out whether the resources you are actually, it's a confirmed thing already, and you need to send in the design for approval, you know, for management approval, for authority approval. Those are in the almost near the delivery part of the project already. So we normally call it the planning phase of the project. So in that planning phase, design management, you need to come out also with things. I mean, you need to also worry about time, cost, the budget. Even earlier stages in the scope management part, you also need to work on you also need to talk about preliminary costing. You need to talk about earlier scheduling, you know, like the idea of scheduling, the selling price, you know, all these things needs to be worked out also at the earlier stages, but not so detailed. So once the final design is ready, you move into contract, you know, you move into tendering, procurement. So in construction stage or delivery stage, procurement will be very important. So procurement means that you are looking for the right contractor, the right service provider. You're sending out notice that you have a job, that you need people to quote you, and then you need to prepare documents, tender documents, drawings, and all that. So these phases here we deal a lot with procurement management. And once the scope of work start, once the construction start, then we are dealing a lot with contract management. You see, that is also part of procurement management. We will also be dealing with many part of this will be dealing with communication management, team management. Earlier part in planning phase, we also deal with risk management, you see, and then site management is more in the construction delivery part of things. Those are execution of the project. So you see, project life cycle, if you don't understand what the project have to go through at different stages of the project life cycle, it's very difficult for you to relate project management to the different stages of the project life cycle. So once the project is finished, you move on into handing over, defect liability period, and then you also move into commissioning. Then you're talking about maintenance management already. Maintenance management, life cycle costing, you know, these are all part and parcel of maintenance and operation, asset management, yeah. So project asset management, and then also at the end of it, whereby you need to change the purpose of the project. When the purpose of the project change already into something else, it's the beginning of the life cycle. You will end up with demolition. You will end up with taking down the building. You'll be doing with recycling. You'll be dealing with rehabilitation. You know, so those are another area of management by itself. It's different, okay? Operation and maintenance management is different, O&M, okay? And life cycle value engineering, you also do it at the earlier phases, like during the scope management, during the planning stage, before the delivery stage of the project, okay? I hope whatever I'm saying is actually making sense to you. What I'm trying to tell you is here, the basic is project life cycle is a whole picture of your project, from how it is born to how it's died. How to its death, okay, to the end of it, beginning and the end. So it's like I'm showing you the whole picture of how a project, what kind of thing the project goes through. It's just like when you're in, you know, I'm sure some of you have children, you know, so you actually see your children's science book, you know, you can see the cycle of, you know, that tadpole, you know, that the eggs, the frog give birth to those eggs, you know, and then the eggs goes to become a tadpole becomes a frog, a small frog, and then a big frog, and then, you know, finish and all that. So that is a life cycle. So basically this life cycle that I'm trying to show you here is a whole picture of what a project should be, you see. And when you talk about, let me try to get this. Yep. So when you see the whole project life cycle, starting from the needs, earlier on the needs, the demands, the reason for your project, to the demolition, to the rehabilitation, to the recycling part of the project, you will actually go through, you have to go through, every project will go through this life cycle, and the body of knowledge is applicable at different stages of the life cycle. And in all the mix of it, you are doing different body of knowledge, and different body of knowledge will go through similar management function: planning, organizing, execution of work, corrective action. They will be repeating different, like if I'm doing scope management at the beginning, starting part of the project, or this stage of the life cycle, I will be doing management. I'll be planning for my scope. I will be organizing my resources to fulfill the scope. I will be carrying out the scope of work. That is delivery of the project. That I will be also doing corrective actions. I'll be doing monitoring. I'll be doing control. So management function is applicable at every time where you have, you know, my imagination for it is, you have a very big tong, you know, and this tong there, you can tong in, you know, like a hole on the tong, like a ballot box, you know, you can throw in, this is your project, you'll be throwing in time, you'll be throwing in cost, you'll be throwing in you'll be throwing in quality, you'll be throwing in procurement, you know, different type of body of knowledge you'll be throwing it in. these are all the body of knowledge that is required. And this ballot box inside there is a wheel there. And that wheel is planning, organizing, execution, controlling, monitoring. So it will process all your body of knowledge so that the output that comes out of it is going to be a nice, successful ending, a nice, successful product that your public can use, or your client is happy with, or your paymaster is very happy with the work. Okay, public can use means that a lot of like civil engineering project, not only the house buyer, the house owner is the end users. We are looking at maybe the people driving on the road, people using the water, people using the sewage plant and all that. You see, so people lifestyles will be improved due to the work that is being done. All right, so what is the idea of that life cycle is like a big picture. So within that big picture, we are throwing at different stages. You need to carry out different processes in that sense. You need to carry out different processes with different knowledge that is available. Okay, and then with that processes, it will continue to go through that planning, organizing, leading, planning, organizing, execution, monitoring and controlling, more or less whatever we are saying here. Basically, this is the processes that we have to go through to apply to that body of knowledge, okay, at different stages of the project life cycle. I hope I'm not making this even more confused for you guys. Are you guys okay? You know, we've been talking for about an hour now. Are you still with me? Yeah. Right, huh? Okay. So, sometimes it gets very confusing. You know, like some people may say that, what is the work management? And then we've got these processes. Then we've got this life cycle. You know, how do we actually put them all together in that sense, So basically, yeah, don't get too worried. Don't get too confused. There is a lot of theory here, which I'm pretty sure some of you are probably like falling asleep because there's so much of theory. Okay, yeah, we will be going through a lot of application in the next few, from next week onwards, actually. So these are the fundamentals that we just make sure that you punya foundation, your foundation is strong. Okay, so your basic is strong lah, yeah. So yeah, so just to recap, okay. So why do we need to know project life cycle? Because in project life cycle is like this particular project that you are going to be carrying out, that you'll be in charge of, has a specific life cycle, and it has different phases that it needs to go through, and in different phases we need to apply different body of knowledge. Okay, and when we are applying this body of knowledge, we actually need to carry out different some specific processes on the, it's just like this body of knowledge. Remember I said that big box that we have. So when you throw in that body of knowledge, inside there, that big box is processing it with the theory of management. Whoa, 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 whoa. Sorry, my cat is a bit noisy. Yeah. Okay. Sorry. I have a very noisy animal here suddenly coming in to complain about something. Right. Right. So yes. So you can see that. Like, can you imagine this is the big box, This is the box, this is a good picture that we have here. So this project life cycle, this box that we are going through, okay, we are basically at different stages of the project life cycle. You have many knowledge area that is required. Not only 10, like occupational health and safety, environmental management, all these are, operation and maintenance management. They are all part of the body of knowledge. It's just that for very standard, for very fundamentals, for very background, we only limit to 10. Because not every project, like not every industry has to go through environmental management. You know, not every industry has to go through operation and maintenance. You know, so but all the industry will generally go to time, cost, quality, communication, procurement, risk. You know, so this 10 body is actually very, very fundamentals. You see, so depending on the industry that you're going through, you know, you can have more. You can have more. Okay, and with this knowledge that you have, the knowledge areas, this knowledge area needs to be processed. Then macam, you know, when you put a meat through a processor, you want to make it a minced meat. You know, the end result is minced meat. So there will be a processes. The wheel needs to be going. There is cutter inside there. You know, that machine. So in this machine, you have this process group called planning, organizing, execution. You know, and actually planning and initiation is the same thing. Like initiating is just part and parcels of planning, basically. Okay, so initiate. When we come to this stage, we don't really talk about initiation anymore, because the process has already been initiated. Then it's planning, organizing, execution, controlling, monitoring, and corrective action, or what we call closing up processes. So basically, you see, the function of management is also the same, the processes group that we are looking at here. So inside there, this is your knife, this is your hammer, this is your whatever. You know, they will process these different knowledge areas so that when the output comes about at different stages of the project life cycle, you have different output. Here you'll be outputting things as scope of work. Here you'll be outputting things like tender documents. Here you'll be outputting construction. Here you'll be outputting contract documents, you see. And here you'll be outputting the final product. So the output is your project, you see. But obviously, like I say, in terms of project life cycle, there will be other things a lot longer than just carrying out the work, finishing the construction, or finishing the manufacturing, or finishing the production. It's not up there only. So there will be a lot of other things at the end of the project, like operation, maintenance, commissioning, you know, and for some industry, it's about selling it, it's about marketing, is about selling your product, is about also warranty, is about maintenance. You know, for us civil engineers, we talk about defect liability period, commissioning, we talk about operation, we talk about maintenance, we talk about replacement and all that, you know, and then towards the end with rehabilitation, recycling and all that. So you see, I mean, sometimes I'm a bit, you know, it's actually very difficult to teach this particular MSCEM because it's not very specific. I'm trying not to be a civil engineer here. You know, I'm trying my best not to talk about everything on construction. Otherwise, you know, some of you will be totally lost, you see. I try not to. So that's why it gets a bit, so you have to bear with me, you know. So I'm more the sekat in that sense. I'm more stuck when I talk about, you know, project management for MSCEM. I do project management for undergraduate studies, like some of you know, you take my classes before. I do masters of engineering, civil engineering, project management. You know, they are so much easier because we just stick to civil engineering and construction project. So yeah, so we have, I need to consistently think about examples that can fulfill other people's industries in that sense. So I hope that you all don't get so bored like in that way. All right. So now project life cycle, project phases, different phases of the project life cycle. You know, all these are all very, 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 very theoretical. I don't. Yeah. So basically like what I've explained. So there's a lot more definition, a lot more reading for you to do. So basically project life cycle, okay, we have a lot of activities, we have a lot of body of knowledge that has to be processed by the process management processes in order to come up with more useful or more important information or more important components or subcomponents for us to move on to the next component, for example. Okay, so project life cycle, it will split into different phases. I just went through with you. Basically, there will be to be very, very detailed, it will start off with initiation. So it will be like initiation with needs and demands, you know, and with market studies and all that. Those are that is phase number 1. Then we will be going through a conceptualization phase, and whereby we actually put the ideas together. And we also will go through many knowledge on scope management, such as feasibility studies, such as preliminary site investigations, such as what else is there? Okay, feasibility studies, option feasibility studies, option studies, you know. And yeah, I mean, like, before we can come up with the scope of work, see, and then we will also need to look at planning guidelines. We need to look at authority requirements. So in the conceptualization, it's like you are making your idea, the initiation or the idea into something that is a little bit more concrete. Like, for example, in IT, it could be development of the solution, maybe, you know, and but we are not up to design yet, but we are just thinking about a flow of work or a flow chart that may be able to solve the problem. So here, if there's a traffic jam, we want to know, maybe we want to build a new road, we want to expand the road, we want to add on lands, we want to abandon the road and redo another new road, for example. So these are all under conceptualization. Okay, so I will go through that in a lot more detail later on. So that is a conceptualization phase, whereby we are developing the idea. We are trying to digest the customer's requirement so that you can digest, I mean, you can come up with a good idea, that the idea that solves their problem, and that is really what they want as the, you know, as the client of the project or the end users of the project. So that is phase 2. And then we've got phase 3, whereby we are more into planning. And this planning stage is we've got the scope of work already. We want to do preliminary design work, because some client, when they see your idea, they see a few drawings from you there, they kind of get it, but they're not so sure, so they may want you to embark onto a preliminary design. So you need to come up with a preliminary design report, whereby you are developing that one option. At the end of conceptual phase, you will have many options, and you pick one option, and the client will pick one option. And the client will tell you, can you develop this option a little bit more for me to understand whether it will really be what I want, or what the problem that I can solve, for example. So in that phase, in that planning phase, we are developing the ideas a lot more seriously, a lot more detail, coming up with the also need to look into different authority requirement. You know, it can be NREB, it can be water board, it can be DID, you know, it can be many different agencies that has very specific requirement for certain specific work, you see. And for some industry, you may need to come up with a prototype, you know, like experimental prototype, like maybe architect, they need to come up with say the model, you know, the model of the things for them to actually do some experiment for a few months or few weeks to make sure that it will work, to show the client this is how it is going to be done. I mean, this is how it will be run, for example. So yeah, I mean, like, many things, you know, that you can do during that planning stage. But the essence of that planning stage is basically to develop that one idea, you know, and to make sure that you clean up the client's requirement carefully. So when we go back to the client with our model or prototype, or with our design, preliminary design, we still talk to them. We still want to communicate with them and say, is this really what you want? Is this what you're looking at? And they may say, oh, no, this is not what I want, or whatever, or I think this is okay, but I need to have extra this thing here, that thing there, you know, or whatever. I have certain requirement that you need to fulfill. So then you have to go back and redevelop the idea. So at the end of the day, once that planning phase is already complete, the main thing is we are going into the delivery phase. And in that delivery phase, we don't go to delivery phase, we go to the design phase. Okay, so in that design phase, we are actually essentially looking at, you know, like, the client confirmed the idea is already been developed already, And this phase here in that design, final design phases is actually part of the planning phase as well. So this planning phase is you are preparing those tender documents, you are preparing, because the client has already fixed and confirmed that this is what I want and I have the money to do it. You know, they have gone through their cash flow and all that. So in that planning phase, we need to confirm on the idea. Then we will move into the delivery phase. And in the delivery phase is the phase that we have tendering, procurement, you know, and also we also have construction or production. This is the actual activity ongoing. Then after that, we have testing, we've got commissioning, we've got after testing, commissioning, and handover, we will go into the maintenance phase, and then after that, after 1 year or maintenance period is over, then the product will be handed over to the client to be maintaining by themselves fully, and then it will go on running through the normal event for the lifespan of the project. It can be 20 years, it can be 10 years, it can be 6 months, it can be whatever that you set it to be, and then the project will be lupus. It will be finished and it will change purpose, and that is a new project going on, so new idea. So basically your project will go through this sort of phases within those sort of phases. Okay, so yeah, I mean, product life cycle and project life cycle, well, product is basically, like I say, product is the same, I mean, like, it's not essentially a project life cycle. A product life cycle is just it's just like your phone is being manufactured, then after that it will be in use, and then after that it will get a bit slower, and then like your laptop or your electronic, your car or something, those are all products. Okay, so project is actually the process of coming up those products in a way like one project, like if the road is the product, then project is the processes of coming up that product. Okay, so don't get it confused with product and process, project and product. And yeah, so try not to get it's not the same. That's what we're trying to say. It's project is more processes. Product is just different stages of the usage. That's all. Okay, not so important, just for you to understand the difference between a project and a product. Okay, so let's go into a little bit more detail in terms of engineering project life cycle. So this is talking about project and not product. Like I say, product, you can have different project that makes the product. Okay, or you can have the project that makes the product. Okay, but we as engineers, we are concerned about the project. Okay, so that our product is delivered to the client. Right, so let's start off with conceptualization. I do not want to put in too many specific things because, like I said, this is MSCEM, this is general. You have many people from different industries, so I do not want to be very specific about engineers. I mean, about civil engineers. So basically, a project life cycle, number one, it will start off with needs and demands. How true is this? Are you guys okay with that? For your industry, is it needs and demands? Yeah. For my industry, if it's a project that I need to build a jetty, I need to build a wharf, I need to transport people, I need to build transportation system. Correct enough. That is the public needs. There is traffic jam. There is lack of pressure in water. There is demand for houses. There is demand for residents. There is demand for military. It will always come from needs and demand. What about other industry? Yeah, what about other industry? Can you all relate? Victor, you are for oil and gas, right, Victor? Okay. I thought I've unmuted myself. How come nobody's talking? Yeah, Victor, are you here, Victor? Lee Juntak, which industry are you from, Lee Juntak?
Hi, Doctor. I'm a fresh grad from mechanical engineering.
Mechanical engineering. So
Yeah,
mechanical engineering, you deal with project too, correct or not?
correct.
Yes, because when there is a need for you to do a lift, uh, or escalator, or you know, some form of building, aircon systems, those are all. It will also come from some form of needs. Am I right? Or demands?
Yes, correct.
Yeah. So firefighting systems, air conditioning systems, lift, building services. These are all done by mechanical engineers. Plumbing systems is also you guys, right?
Yes, you're right, Doctor.
And then also you also do what? Do you design any machines or mechanical things?
Yes, and put it in the simulations and study the heat flow.
So basically you guys will also, as mechanical engineers, you will design product, correct? No, you will design valve, you will design batteries, you will design mechanical components for maybe medical people, for oil and gas people, for civil engineering people, correct? Now,
Correct.
yeah. So again, these are also, there will be requests, there will be demand for you all to work together with another industry. And yeah, so for you to provide your design service, or you know, to come up with a product or mechanical part that can fulfill certain requirement. Like let's say if I as an engineer, civil engineer, I want to design a raw water intake, you know. So my raw water intake, I need to pump water from the river. That is my need. So I will call you up as a mechanical engineer and I say, you know, Lee, I need to be able to pump how many gallons of water in a day. Can you design the pump for me? That is a processes, correct or not?
Correct.
So then I'm your client, you know. So I'm your client. So I will tell you this is what I want. And then you need, so this is the start of your project. You are going to design a pump, and a functional pump for me. And that pump will be installed later on. And that installation will be the delivery phase of the project. Okay, so this is I hope this example actually makes sense, to help you to understand what we mean by project life cycle.
Doctor,
Yeah.
in my opinion, Doctor, for the engineering project life cycle, normally in one single project we have civil engineering, mechanical and also electrical in one single project. For example, the building, the one of the project that we're working out right now is one of the SAWAS project, which is the project involve preparation of uh, construct the raw water intake and also elevated tank, and also the new filtering system for the rural water supply.
Yes,
So
correct.
in this kind of sense, so civil engineering will involve in the design of the elevated water tank. For example, the water tank can be it must be 6-story height, and also it must be on the top of the hill. And at the
Yes.
same time, we have a raw water intake. It must be around 40-meter elevation, so we can have around four bar at least to ensure that there is a water enough water pressure for the water to be moved from the raw water intake to the filtering system. So over here we saw there is a marriage between the civil engineering, mechanical to prepare the pump house, and then after that they need to do the what do you call the piping system for the water project, and also for the electrical engineer, they're required to design the enough input electrical system to ensure that there is enough power to run the pump, and also to run everything on the mini filtering or mini
So
uh, water filter system. Yes, yes, to ensure that everything is run smoothly. Normally, we have for the electrical engineer, they required to design and prepare the schematic drawing and also to propose the correct the genset, for example, 50 kVA genset. So this is the type of the project that we embark with, that we think that before 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 at the implementation stage, the consultant and also the client has prepared the ideas, the needs for each project they propose to the client, also to ensure that to it met the requirement for the people's
So
this is the
basically,
experience that we have.
yeah, so I think Nipman, your example is very good. Okay, it's actually like I said, this is like a supply water supply example, and in fact, it's for us. All the major engineering, they are always quite easy to relate. For example, civil, mechanical, electrical, and also maybe some involve chemical engineering, who is into the filter systems, and also the chemical that they're using. They will design the treatment plant, for example. Okay, the system in the treatment plant. Well, so what we are trying to say here is, at the beginning of the project, whereby there is a need, there's a demand. So the need and demand will come from the public, for example. So this area, like Shawa's project, Shawa's project is because there is some kampong, there's some rural areas that they don't have clean water, for example. Okay, so that is whereby the needs and demands are actually created. It's there already. So phase one, all engineers need to know what is the need, what is the demand, okay? What is the reason behind your project, okay? And then we need to understand the client, all right? So what you are dealing with will be maybe JBAP, the Jabatan Luar Bandar. So when you deal with JBAP, they are your paymaster, they are your client, but they are not the end user. So for us as engineer, when at that first place at the beginning, even before we conceptualize at all, okay, we want to make sure that we understand what is the need of the people. How many kampong actually needs water? What are the population that needs water? What will the future demand be? You see, and what is the capacity that is needed? We need to understand the project environment as well, meaning that which river are we looking at, or which sources of water are we looking at? Correct or not? Yeah. So these are
Correct.
yeah. So this particular need and demand, I want to emphasize. Why am I emphasizing so much on that? Because many times as designers, or many times as engineers or the designers, we do not really study this need and demand properly. We just do the random, or we just do whatever that is required, like simple things just to say that, oh, the project is needed. We all know that the project is needed. So, but there's no proper studies that is being carried out for us to actually understand the needs and demand. And also, this is when we're talking about needs and demand, many times we are in touch with the paymaster. We are not in touch with the end users, meaning
Correct.
that we really know
Correct.
what the people needs, what the people want. You see, we only know what the authority wants as a designer, or as a consultant, or as a developer of the solution. We must go through, especially as those of you who are going to be in the design or the solution development stage, make sure that you need to really understand what is the end user's need. I know you may say that this one should be done by the authority. They are supposed to be the one that really go through this before we talk, you see. But unfortunately, they don't. And many times they just do the very basic, is it? And that's why when they bring the project to the solution developer or the consultant, problem solver, the problem solver can only see certain components. They can only see, oh, yeah, the client wants me to do this, so I just do this. You see, I mean, I just go and design. I just go straight down and conceptualize and design. And that many times is not the contractor's fault that at the end of the day, the things are not fulfilling. Because why? In the initial stage, we did not fully understand what is the public's need, what is the people's need, what are the end users' need. Yeah. So there must be a proper study, especially with things like future demands as well, and how long the lifespan of the project will be, the product will be like at the end of the day. Because if you don't design it accordingly, you will actually end up making it too short of a lifespan. If there's no people to maintain your Shawas project, in 2 years' time, they will all be not working anymore. You see, that is the issues that we keep on having for a lot of our rural projects, because we do not understand. We not say we do not understand. We did not actually spend enough of effort to understand where the people are standing. Okay, some of them are not knowledgeable. Some of them they don't want to do maintenance. So when we provide solution, we cannot just provide up to construction, up to realization, up to giving them the product. When you don't understand, it's just like you and I, let's say we go shopping together today. We want to go and buy ourselves a laptop. So every one of us, we go shopping to City One, okay, or wherever computer is, Sebakas, then we each one of us have our own requirement. Yeah, some of you may use a computer to play high level, high visual games. Some of you, like me, I only use it to go WebEx, and the highest is to go YouTube, to download things. That's it. Some of you all just use it for tapping PowerPoint and all that. So we all have different needs and requirements. So is it good that we all go and buy the same computer? So it may be over for some people, it may be under for some people. And that is an issue. So how do you say we meet customer satisfaction whereby we don't even know what the customer wants? It's just like I do a renovation work. Let's say I have a job, a renovation work. And part of the renovation work is to renovate the kitchen. I asked the husband, what do you want? Oh, the husband said that, oh yeah, you put in this, you put in that. And my wife said she wants an oven, so you go and put in an oven. Okay, no problem. This is what you want. This is your customers. So you give them what you want. Then later on, the wife come and say that I'm not happy. I want this oven is so small, I can't use it. Or this oven does not do whatever. It doesn't bake, it doesn't grill, so it's not good. I don't like it, so she's not happy. So it means that your client is not happy. Okay, so we must know who is the user. Always remember this. So why do I put phase 1 as needs? And even before conceptualization, there is this phase that we must have, is to understand the customer's requirement, understand the project objective, understand the usage of the project. Like Nickman's, your example is very good because it involves a lot of profession. But all these profession, normally we will go under the civil engineer. They will be the lead consultant. Okay, so together, as a civil engineer, I cannot be the one just tell the mechanical engineer or tell the electrical engineer or tell the chemical engineer what I want. All of us need to understand the need and demand. We all need to know what the client wants, the paymaster wants. That is number one. That will be the first gate. Then if you're more hardworking, you should know what the end users need. You cannot go and design something that is over. Like for example, if this area, the water is already beautiful, there is no need for high level treatment. Why do we need to waste money to go and design a full-fledged treatment plant? If we know that the area whereby you're building the water tank is already on the high side, Why do you need to go and build a high level water tank that is 15 meter, 20 meter? Mengapa? Why? Because you don't study the topo well enough. If you study the river, you will know that when is high tide, when is low tide. And then from there, you will know that how much water can be pumped. When is low tide. And then if you know that this river is older, there may be maximum about 7 days, it can be drier. Then your tank, you need to prepare a bigger tank for you to store the water. So not only we need to know the project, we need to know the client itself. The first stage is to know the client itself, know the paymaster, know the demand, and then we will be able to supply correctly. Okay, and it's not only the job of the civil engineers to find out this, the mechanical people needs to find out as well. The mechanical needs to have the right, they need to set the right questions so that the right information can be channeled to them. Electrical, the same. You don't want to have a pump, then the electricity is not consistent. Do you need to have, where is the nearest substation, where is the nearest transmission line, what is the nearest power line, what is the happening with the current area, the power in the supply of power, the power in the current area. Maybe it's already not enough for the current area, and then you want to put in a big treatment plant that is supposed to be running every day. You will probably need your own substation, or you will all need your own supply system of electricity. Then our design will be completely different. Okay, chemical, like I said, the chemical process engineers. If the water is already fantastic, or the water is so dirty, you need a proper treatment. But if the water is already so fantastic, you probably don't need a full-fledged treatment. You only need a filter systems even. And then the water is good to go already. Yeah. So the different professions is the same. For every engineers, you understand your client's needs first. Understand their demand, understand their needs, and then don't just remember to go for the paymaster. You must understand the end user. Then there's a big difference here. Yes, sometimes the end users is the paymasters, but most of the time it is not. It's just that I built Unimas. The Unimas punya facilities are paid by the ministry, the government. But user is who? Lecturer, you, me, student. We are the end users. We want to be comfortable using the facilities. We want to be effective using the facilities. We do not want to be kelang kabut using the facilities. Yeah, and the people doing the asset management, they want to know, they want you to design something that is easy for them to do maintenance. The client may say they want it to look good, a high ceiling floor or whatever, best acoustic system. But if there's no one doing maintenance later, all this will be just white elephants at the end of the day. It's going to be wasting money, and nothing is going to be really working. And it's a waste of money. Okay, so
it does
yes?
happen, Doctor. I
Yes, happen,
saw some project. It become what elephant, yes.
I think for your Shawa's project, I'm pretty sure there's a lot of white elephant, huh?
A lot, but we try to repair the white elephant project. There is a one project, white elephant project too. There is a failure in SSF system. So right now we try to repair the system and to ensure that the system is running well again. Because we saw there is some problem in filtering layer.
Yeah.
So we repair that area first. This is what everything that you said is correct.
Are you in construction? Are you in construction or are you in design actually?
We are one of the engineering company in Kuching.
Okay, so you are not working with the authority lah. You're not
No,
working with JBAPGA or one of the
no,
water
no.
authority, no lah. So you're
No,
in
no.
the design and build lah, basically lah,
Yeah, yes. Anything involved to implementation stage, Doctor.
Okay, excellent. So I hope this sort of topic is going to be interesting for you lah,
It's very, very interesting.
Good. All right. So now after we understand. Okay, you see that I'm very passionate about, you know, as engineers, we try to understand the needs of the client. Even for development project, it's the same. You know, you need to understand whether your client are building this piece of land, whether they're what they need. Is it, do they need more shops? Do they need more houses? Do they need double story? Do they need single stories? You know, what is their selling price? What is their target? What is their aim like? You know, so if you build a shopping mall, you know, we need to understand. We need to provide solution to our client. Yeah, not just do it, you know, like do it, like get it, what that's siap, and then habis cerita, we get our money and go home, that kind of thing, you know. It's not like that, because towards the end, there will be a lot of other issues coming up, such as defects, such as client not being satisfied, and such as uh, high maintenance and high operation costs and all that. Yeah. So any other people from other industries anyone from manufacturing, like really manufacturing? Amira, are you from manufacturing? I think you're from manufacturing, right? Are you the one that is from this what's the name of that company again? The one that do fly ash and manganese slag and all that?
Yes, ferroalloys.
Ferroalloy, yeah. So how do you relate your clients' needs and demands? Or are you guys the client? What product do you do?
We do ferrosilicon alloys and also silico-manganese alloy.
That is for what?
That is going to be used in steel making.
In steel making.
Yeah.
So again, who is your client typically? Steel,
Our
steel,
client,
steel.
steel company like Toyota, Hyundai, and some US, some sent to Europe also,
So basically,
India.
for you to come up with that particular product, you need to understand what Honda needs, what Toyota needs, correct? Not? They may have different specification, different components, or different ratio in their in their alloy and in their raw byproduct, correct? Not?
Yes, correct. They look at the chemical properties, how many percentage of silicon is needed and how many percentage of manganese and carbon percentage.
So
So they,
different clients will have different percentage and different ratios and all that, am I right?
yes, and also sizes also,
Ah,
sizes of the, mm.
so in this case, it's very simple for you guys to understand that, you know, for every single time you run the production, it has to be based on the client's requirement, correct enough?
Yes, correct.
You cannot just book out a production and say, this is my formula and take it or leave it. Ya kan?
Yeah.
So it has to be based on the ratio that is being given to you guys. Or do you need to design for them as well?
No, we usually already have a certain specifications of products, and then usually the clients will choose which one, like what
Uh,
sizes they want, what chemical they want.
mm, mm, mm. So it's the
No
same with
custom. No, the only custom is for low boron. That's ours. Like rarely we produce that product.
I see.
Low boron
So
product.
the
Low
same as
boron.
people who are doing like let's say you are roof manufacturers, you are concrete manufacturers, so all of us, we need to, before you start the production, before you start to produce that particular item, you will need to actually understand the needs of the client or their requirement, at least,
Yes, correct.
Jessica, you're from where, Jessica?
Hello, doctor. I'm actually working with JKR.
JKR. So JKR
Yeah,
is, are you a civil engineer or what?
yeah,
Matt?
I'm a civil engineer actually.
Okay, so whatever just now the Shawas project one, you already know lah, So you guys are the client all the time, You guys are the
Yeah,
paymasters all the time. And it's usually you
yeah,
guys need to go and find out more about the public's need and demand, correct or not?
yes, yes, correct.
Doing a lot of the survey work before you approach the consultant to conceptualize on your project,
Yeah, true.
Mhm. Okay, so I hope that you all can make our industry better lah in that sense lah, huh? Are you from Unimas previously?
Yes, doctor, I was one of your students.
Okay.
Back in, I think I graduated in 2017.
Oh, 2017. So your name is your name is actually very familiar. So you're in JKR now with who? Jessie, they all, is it? Yeah.
Sorry, doctor.
Which
Yeah,
JKR are you in? Cebu?
actually, I'm now in Pen Borneo. I'm the project manager for the, I guess, Sarike section.
I see. So you are with JKR Sarike.
No, I'm under Pen Borneo unit.
Oh, but under the HQ lah, in Kuching lah.
Not exactly, because I'm actually in Sarike now.
Oh, you are,
Office in Sarike for Pen Borneo. Yeah.
you are under the jurisdiction of which JKR?
Pen Borneo unit.
But Pen Borneo unit is under HQ ka or under divisional?
It's under HQ actually, doctor.
HQ lah, yeah. Okay, can
Yeah.
understand. Afika, you're from which area are you from? So that I can understand you guys better, huh?
I'm working with contractor.
Contractor, huh? Okay. So your situation is a bit more like Nick Man, huh?
Yeah.
Doing what sort of project all the time?
So far, we are doing a building project.
Building, huh? Okay.
What's of building lah?
Structural schools, things like that lah.
Structure. The one of Grand Margarita, we are now lah.
Oh, that's about Fort Margarita. Nice.
The White House near below the tin, the
So
dune.
you are gonna. It's being transformed into the latest museum, isn't it?
That one is going to be a tea house building.
Oh, okay. Right. So you're doing part of it. Like, is the refurbishing? Is the job? Is the whole thing? Is the refurbishing of Fort Margarita, isn't it?
The cut below near the cut dune itu, Prof.
Oh.
Consultant JPI kah?
Who's the consultant? Nick Man was asking.
No, we are the contractor.
Now, who is the consultant?
Consultant is NBL Architects.
Okay. You're doing more building lah. Yeah. Okay. Understand. Okay. So I think a lot of you are actually from construction. Even if you're not from construction, you are all quite related to construction, except for Amira. I mean, I don't know where are the others today. I mean, like there's a few. I don't. There's one from. We also have two from overseas. So I didn't see their name here today. This morning. So I don't know what is happening. Okay. So yeah, let's move on. Okay. Right. So now with understanding of different people's example. Oh, Siti Aisha, I miss you. Zainuddin, I know you're from construction. Siti Aisha, you're from where? Which industry are you in?
From government, doctor. Actually from State Health Department.
Health Department. Are you in the engineering department or are you in the medical department?
Engineering department for maintaining all the hospital.
So the moment you say you're in hospital, straight away my thinking is you probably in maintenance already. So maintenance management, your thing lah. Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay. So let's move on. I think we've covered almost everybody here. So yeah. So after that, what do you do? So we understand the needs of the project already, but when things are not clear, we need to visualize. Like we need to see what are we embarking on to, what product are we designing, or what solution are we building. So at this stage, we will move into what we call a conceptualization stage. Okay. So in the conceptualization stage, most of us will be producing what we call a conceptual report. And this conceptual report, it doesn't have to be complicated as in, you know, you have pages and pages of drawings. It can be just a flow of how you want to solve that problem, just an idea of the flow, or a layout, you know, like I think there's an example here that, you know, we show you that it could be something like simple like this, you know, it's a sketch of what we are looking at, you know, like for example, Nick Mann's project is now you will have, you know, your concept will be a raw water tank, and then from there you will have the pumping system from the raw water tank to the treatment area, from the treatment area how to pump it to the storage, and then after that the pipeline all the way down to the people, the end users. So basically we've got the whole, you know, the concept is just the system, the idea of the whole system. So it's not fully developed yet. So then you've got this, well, once you've got this concept, like for example, structure, like for example, I think who is that lady again just now? In structure, what's the name? Africa, yeah. So Africa, I mean, like if you're in the earlier stages of the planning, basically you will be looking at the you know, the layout of the structure, current structure, and how you will be renovating it or how you will be transforming it. You know, so it's just like which room you want to take it out, which area you want to add in, which are you going to add in extra floor, are you going to add in extra space, are you going to put in walkways, you know? So it's just an idea of how, you know, we visualize our project. Okay, so that is conceptual. So in this conceptual stage, what else do you do? Conceptual stage, normally I like to divide into two phase. I mean, like two components. The first component is for everybody to come up with an idea, like you know, it can be a sketch, can be something that is simple for you to further develop it. But how do you further develop it? Before you develop anything, you need to go for information finding. You know, it's like you're going on a bear hunt. You want to find the bear first, okay? So where do you find the bear? So you want to go, so in this case, you would need to study. This is part of what we call scope management already. So in this case, the first thing that you want to do is you want to do a preliminary site investigation, okay? Like for example, a Mira case, you will need to talk to the client more, and you need to see what the end product is like. If let's say they ask you to do the designer, but in this case you don't have, because you've already got the pages of a product that is already designed, and they have to choose and pick from that. You see, so but then you also need to understand the needs so that you can advise them to pick the correct one in a way. But for most construction project, or for most of mechanical, electrical, you know, our project in the construction industry, or even building an oil and gas platform, you know, we will actually want to find out the preliminary data, which is the site data. What do you mean by site data? Where is the access? Where is the location? Where is the site itself? Is it accessible by road? Okay. What is the locality plan? Okay. And then you also need to know, is there any access road to it at the moment? Do you have to go by river completely, or do you have to go by train? Or can you go by plane? Is there an airport nearby? Or how are you going to transport your materials in that sense? So we need to go and find the preliminary data. And if the most preliminary data is the topography plan as well, the drawings, you need to get a surveyor to survey the areas first. Why? Because without topography, it's almost impossible to do anything. Topography will show the current, you know, where is the highest invert level, where is the highest invert level, where is the lowest invert level, what is the difference. I mean, it basically survey whatever that is within that particular site at this point in time. So topo is very important. And then if you are more, that client do it, the more money they have, you will want to also do some bore log, meaning that you want to go and see the bore log, you know, like see the soil condition. Okay. Then from this technical data that you collect, water table, where is the catchment, what is the current rainfall and runoff. These are all the data that will actually be able to help you to develop your idea a little bit more. So number one, we want to have more technical data. We want to do a site walkabout to understand the site. Then you need to also understand the project environment. What do you mean by project environment? What are the current facilities that is within the site itself or nearby? What are the traffic studies that is related to your site? Where is the nearest traffic light? Where is the nearest access? Where is the nearest deceleration land and all that? You need to study all this. Okay. If you're doing like Shawa's project, you need to understand the river itself, the sources of water. Is it from the mountain? Is it from the waterfall? Is it from the river itself? Which part of the river? Upstream, downstream, near to the water mouth? Near to the river mouth? What is the tide like? What is the hydrological profile like? Is there nearby up there Bakun always throwing blocks down there? Is there any logging activities around there, that area? Because that will affect your raw water intake design later. Okay, so there are important information. You need to do your site project environment study. If I design a drain, I cannot just design the drain for my segments. I need to know where is the water coming from. How many development are there upstream for the water to be flowing onto a drain before it flows into your drain? You cannot do upgrading work by just saying that I want to add sizes. That is wrong. You need to study the upstream, downstream. So these are technical data, traffic studies and all that. So project environment studies is very important. This is not project environmental study. Environmental studies, when we talk about EIA, there is another study. You need to study the flora, the fauna, the animals, the trees, the heritage, the pollution. This is a separate study. Okay, so I will go through this a lot more in detail with you guys next class when we do scope management. So in terms of scope management, before you come up with the scope of work completely, you already have an idea now in a drawing like whatever I'm showing you here on the computer. It can be a sketch, okay? Like it can be just a system or a flow chart of how you're going to solve the problem. Like IT people, you need to solve what problem. You get it listed out, but you need to do information. You need to go on a bear hunt. Okay, and that bear hunt first is technical bear hunt. You need to understand the technical. Then you need to understand the project. You need to understand the project. Project environment. Yeah, and then you also need to understand the environmental aspects of. Because as engineers, whether we are Mac or whether we're EE, whether we are civil, whether we're chemical. All engineers, our job, we are taking something away from the nature. We need to put back something. Otherwise, we are going to make more problems. We are problem solver, and many of us don't realize that we create more problems. So as an engineer, our job is to solve problem. So we need to understand project environment, the surrounding issue, your company, the authority that you're working with. You need to understand the issues surrounding your projects. Okay, you need to understand the environmental impact of your project that you are doing. So for us, environmental impact is very important because chemical engineer, your process design will affect the environment later. Dia punya air keluar dari you punya system or your factory or whatever that the process engineer design will actually affect the environment. The manganese slag, the ferroalloy, the alloy itself, the byproducts, the end product, whatever side product, it may actually flow into the river, the drain and all that. It will kill more fishes and all that. It will destroy the environment. Civil engineer no need to say, you put something concrete, you take away many trees, many grass, and then you put concrete, then you tell me that the water is running too fast into the drain, create flash flood. Of course lah. Last time when it's raining, you got tree, the leaves, the root, the bark to shorten, I mean to make sure that the flow doesn't go so fast into the ground. And then the ground is a filtering system itself before it goes into the drain. So last time when there's tree here, it takes 2 hours for the rainwater to go into the drain. Now with concrete straight away from your roof to your wall to your drain, perimeter drain to the outside drain, less than 20 minutes. So how can you not have flash flood? All our work will affect the environment. So we have to also take into account to find out more data. Okay, so all this data and also the project environment punya data. Project environment data is very, very, like I will show it to you next week. From the very center is your own project team, your own company's management, your clients punya attitude. To the second layer is your direct project environment, meaning that where is the substation, where is the pillar hydrant, where is the nearest river situation like, and all the hydrological profile, traffic studies. Those are very much of a second layer. Then the third layer is the bigger impact on the project, such as the economics, the social, the law, the legislation that is on the land that will affect your project, and your project will affect those things as well. The heritage, the culture, social impact. So every project that we do, the environmental impact, also this will be, this is what we call the entire project environment that we are studying. So once you've got this data ready, you can conceptualize better what you can do, what you absolutely cannot do, what you absolutely can do, and what is all the in-between option that you have. So with this conceptual report, we are basically trying to get as much data, as much technical data, as much project environment data, as much of as much of external studies that you can do before you embark onto the actual options. You're coming up with the different options for your project. So what we have here is technical, project environment, okay, and all that. So once you've got that, basically once you've got that study all done, okay, you are actually already visualizing more and more the scope of work. And with the various options that you have, when we will do the next thing, what we call feasibility studies. Feasibility studies is actually, you have to answer the question of, can it be done or not? So many parts of it will fall back to technical. If technically the soil cannot take it, technically the river cannot do it, the location is not right, then we will have to change. So feasibility studies, the most important thing is you have to answer is number one, after you have done all the conceptual report study. Under the conceptual report, we have got our preliminary, the site studies and all of the preliminary investigation studies, the technical studies, plus also the feasibility studies. This is all part of the conceptual report. Okay, although some people, they will not do conceptual report, they will do feasibility studies. It's all the usage of terms, ladies and gentlemen. Don't get too worked out over it. The main thing is, in your conceptual report, you will do things like the technical data collection, you will do feasibility studies, you will do preliminary site investigation. So basically, from your technical studies, from your project environment study, from your preliminary site investigation, all these three things, you need to answer a very simple question. Dapat jalan ke project ini? Can we do it or not? Or is it the right location for it? Is it the right time for it? You answer that first. So if the answer is yes, we can do it. Technically doable. Project environment doable. not too costly because I've studied the site already. There is nearby water pipeline, there is nearby substation, whatever. You know, you've done the study. It is okay. It is good. It's good to go. Then you will come up with the option. Those data that you collect will help you to come up with the option. So we call it option studies. And in these option studies, we will do economic studies. Because all these options needs to be technically sound, it also have to be economically advantageous. Which option who doesn't want to make more money? Who doesn't want to be most beneficial in terms of solution? Most effective in terms of solution? Of course, we want to be pay less, have more. Okay? Beli sayur dari pasar pun sama kan? You want to go to market, you want to buy veggie also same. You ask the auntie to give you buy more veggie, you ask the auntie, can I have more spring onion? You want to have extra. Why? Advantageous ba? So you have $1 million, you have $3 million, you have $5 million, you have $10 million. You want to make the most out of it. In fact, squeeze more than it can give. That is normal. That is business. So what we do is we need to study the options. So in terms of options, first, we of course, to come up with those options, we already know that all the options should be technically okay lah. But economically, we will study two aspects. The first aspect is the economic, the financial aspect, meaning that how much money I put in, what is the capital expenditure, what is the cost of the project, and what is my return. The return can come from many areas. It can come from not only dollars and cents. It can come from social. It can come from building up the economy of the area. So it depends on the project that you're embarking on. If you're embarking onto a development project, you want to build houses to sell. You want to build shopping mall to sell. You want to build amusement park. That one is about money making. That one is about dollars and cents. So we want to do a lot of economic analysis that is more financial based, meaning that you need to do cost benefit analysis, you want to do net present value, annual cost method. You know, there's so many methods that we have. And Dr. Lee will go through that with you in week 5 or week 6. Week 5, I think, week 5. She will go through that with you. Okay, so you will have a technique of studying whether certain options are actually giving you more benefit, dollars and cents benefit, or other benefits. Some is quantifiable benefits, some is unquantifiable. As a government agency, okay, just now we have a lady from government, Jessica, I think, yeah, from government agency. You want to build Pan Borneo Highway. We're not talking about how much Pan Borneo Highway will give the government of Sarawak berapa dollars and cents in return, correct or not? Impossible. You're not collecting toll, kan? If you're collecting toll, it's a different story. $5 each time, at different section, different tolls. Of course, that is dollars and cents. But Pan Borneo Highway, dia punya study of the benefit and cost will come from many aspects, such as social. Now you are actually improving the transportation from Kuching all the way to Miri to whatever, through the whole section. Used to be travel time is 7 hours, now only 5 hours. I've got some family coming from Cebu a few days ago. They say that used to be driving from Cebu to Kuching is 5 hours. Now they are driving about 3.5 because the road condition is a lot better. So those sort of benefits is unquantifiable. It will be translated into the peoples of Sarawak punya lifestyle, their businesses, their health, okay, their opportunities in businesses and all that. So those are what we call unquantifiable benefit and all that. And then you will need to actually be able to identify those advantages. So these options that we introduce, normally we will look at a few aspects. Okay, so like I said, capital expenditure is how much money you're spending to build the Pan Borneo Highway. How much money that you'll be spending to maintain Pan Borneo Highway in the next 50 years, 50. Not only, don't just say that you build only makan. JKR later on, you need to do maintenance as well. So maintenance got cost. Need to go and man the pothole, need to go and do the painting of the signage, need to tukar signage, needs to repair the road. Banyak cerita sana, and then the drain also needs to be cleaned up once in a while, once every 6 months or once every year. So a lot of maintenance costs involved. In hospital, the same. You don't just build hospital. There's a lot of maintenance costs involved. The theater needs to be cleaned up. The bulb needs to be changed. The aircon needs to be the ventilation system. The aircon needs to be, we clean every few months. A lot of mechanical people know that. A lot of maintenance charges involved. The recycling, the throwing away of things and all that, all involved costs. You buang barang, you mau bayar juga, you don't just say you buang barang, that's it, I throw in the bin. For medical, you throw, those are medical waste, to treat medical waste, there's a special way to treat medical waste, you need to pay to throw them away. You cannot simply throw into any landfill. No such thing. Okay, it's not about throwing vegetable or leftover makan punya rubbish. It's not like that. So maintenance charge is something that we have to be very careful of. That's why I am specifically going to give you guys a session on life cycle costing, because I think life cycle costing is something that all authorities, most Malaysians, we are up until now, we are still not very concerned about it. Okay, and that is not very healthy. Okay. Yes, there's a lot of awareness now, a lot of awareness on maintenance and operation costs, but during the planning stage, during the earlier stage, we don't want to think about it. Okay, so there are ways to think about it. Okay, so once we've got that done, we've got the feasibility studies being introduced and studies and all that. We've done that, then the client will pick an option. So hopefully the client will pick an option. So you as a designer also, or you as a problem solver also, you need to recommend which option is the best. So after we have recommend, then the client take out our option, we will go for development. This is a development of the idea. It is still, for me, it is still under conceptual, but we can actually put it under a separate phase if you want to. And that phase here, we will usually put it under preliminary engineering phase. So it means that we want to develop the idea further. But how do you develop the idea? You will generally find out more. You want to develop the option, so you will actually do some drawings, do some calculation, do some layout planning, how the drain will run, how the road will run, how many kilometers. You have a lot more specific items that is coming out from your development stage of the project. Okay, so in that development stage of the project, we will also want to find out more on the authority requirement. Like you want to talk to DID, you want to talk to SPA, you want to talk to SHAWAS or JBAP or whatever on their requirement before you full-fledged into the design. So we also want to find out more on the legislative issues that is pertaining our land. Sometimes the land has to be has to be what is that word for it? It has to be changed. The purpose needs to be changed. Dealing with a lot of native lands, with a lot of this agricultural land, so mixed zone land. They can only have certain options. Education land. So be very clear on the legislation or the law that is governing the land that you are working on. So that is also very important. Yeah. So if like for Pan Borneo, you are going through a lot of maybe state and federal lands, and the state and federal lands, some of them are native lands, some of them are, the compensation will be different. There's a lot of issues on land. So with the option that you pick, you need to go more detailed. You need to develop the ideas more. Okay, so from this stage, you also have a preliminary costing. You will also have preliminary costing. You also have a preliminary ideas on how the project will look like at this point in time. And this is not final report yet. So this is not normally at this stage we call it preliminary design report. Okay, so this stage is what we call preliminary engineering now. And normally we can lump it under planning stage or on the conceptual stage also can. Most of my study last time, I mean, like for me, like like my old students, you will know that this stage here is under, for me in my notes previously, I will put it under conceptual stage. Okay, but no harm if you put it under planning stage also, because why? Many clients may just skip the planning stage. They will go, I mean, they will skip that development phase in the conceptual stage and go straight to the planning stage, which means they will get you to do the preliminary design, not necessarily a preliminary, they will get you straight to do the final design. So the final design will come into picture very soon, you know. So some of them may skip because they already know what they want very clearly. All right, right. Let me get some water first. Huh? All right. So then after this, then we move into, you know, once the idea is being developed, I mean, like fully developed, you already have a proper idea. You move into why we sometimes do a preliminary design report, because sometimes some client, as you say, they don't have the budget. You know, like JKR, like that, you know, government agency, federal, state government, you know, ministries, they don't have the budget. So if you straight away go into the planning phase and do the final design, you may be putting yourself up for a shock later, whereby you already spent 2 or 3 months on the design and yet it is KIV. I think for Shawa's project, or there are a lot of this also the same, you know, if it's design and build especially, sometimes you don't, you know, if they're very sure, you will skip the preliminary design report. You will straight away go to the final design and then move on to do, if it's an urgent project lah. But normally you may want to do the prelim design first and then get the confirmation from the client before you move in and do the final design. Otherwise, if you start to do the final design and then the project is not a go ahead, you will lose some money to it, especially if you're engaging some consultants to help you with the design, or M&E engineers and all that to bring into the pictures. So you may have problems, you know. So yeah, like I say, this is like an overlap. This area again, development, what we call a preliminary design stage or preliminary engineering stage. This stage here, like I said, is an overlap between conceptual and planning. Okay, so I hope you get that in your picture, in your head, huh? So then when we planning stage is full design, is final report, is actually a proper design report already. Okay. Hey, wait, how come this notes here is a bit different? Okay. All right, it's actually my colleagues Madam Rahida doing this with you guys last time. So yeah, I'm just taking over her notes. Okay, so yeah, it's okay. So this preliminary, like I said, planning stage, this can be under planning stage. Maybe I should take this out, okay? And planning stage is like when you do conceptual development phase of the project, just repeat, repeat, okay? Just to make sure that you got it correctly. So in this development stage of the project, once the idea is confirmed, you also will see that there will be the scope of work is more or less there as the work breakdown structure, okay, and also as the design, like a preliminary design report. And again, this is the overlap between planning stage. So planning stage, we will have, normally the actual planning stage will involve detailed final design that is there already. Okay, so first we will have the needs and demands, followed by the conceptualization of the project, which will be the first stage. Very clearly is the conceptual report stage with the feasibility studies and all that. That is fixed, that is firm in the conceptual stage. Okay, then the second phase of the conceptual stage, we can have a development phase, and that development phase will usually involve preliminary design report and preliminary engineering, which will sometimes overlap with planning, the planning phase of the project life cycle. So you've got the conceptual phase, you've got the planning phase. So this planning phase, clearly it will be doing some preliminary engineering, preliminary report with final report. So with the final design detail. Okay, so here with the detailed design is also, and this is definitely clearly no issue under planning. Okay, So there will be, let me type it up. I think it will be a lot easier for you to remember. So we will have phase 1, which will comprise of things like technical data, information, which will also involve preliminary site investigation. We will also involve project environment study, different from environmental study. This is EIA and all that. Okay, and then social, economics, legal, law, etc. Then we will have under this part B. Normally, I would like to have this part B in this stage. I will, for me, I will. Okay. Because from this data that is being collected, your end results will be feasibility studies, whether the project can do or not. Feasibility studies, 2 questions asked. Number 1 is you will need to know whether yes or no, yes or no. Then option. At the end of this, you will have an option that you develop more. And this development will involve preliminary, this is what we call preliminary design report. Okay. Of the selected option. Okay. So this preliminary design report, some people or some academics, I would say, some books or academics, they will actually prefer it like to be under what we call the planning phase. Okay, so this planning phase can also have this. Okay, copy. So I'm trying to show you the overlap here. Okay. Why do I want to say that there's an overlap? Because if we are talking about doing this doing this development stage in the conceptual phase, it's basically the client are usually not very sure whether they really want to embark onto the project. So it's better for us to be careful. If it's under this stage, we as engineer, we would not put in as much of resources. That's what I would say. We would not put in so much resources, meaning that it's still unsure. They are just going to explore whether they can do it or not. And here it will also involve things like financial, but their financial studies like cash flow and all that, financial viability studies, which is quite common for the client themselves to study their cash flow, their capital, etc. So this is all about the money, yeah, and they must have the money to do it. Like if not, then it's already being hanged. And then we also will be looking at things like at the end of this stage here, normally we will be very quite clear about the framework, which is the work breakdown already. Okay, so meaning that this is the scope of work already. More or less, you will see this scope of work will be coming out at this stage already. Okay, this is the end product basically from this particular phase. And like I said, when we put it under development stage, the attention that we're putting into this development stage will not be as strong as if it's in the planning phase. Say if the client are very sure that they're almost very clear that they will be embarking onto the project. When you do this preliminary design report here, it is just a double confirmation only. It's just like they want to refine some of the scope. Yeah. So the purpose here is very different. If the development stage is under the first phase 2, this is about unsure. But if the development phase is under phase 3, this is about refining. Refining before we move into the actual final design. And do the actual submission to ask for approval and all that. And also to prepare tender documents or prepare specifications, tender documents, etc. When we come to this stage already, there's no more Gostan gear. There's no more reverse gear already. There's no more such thing as like, I'm not so sure. Yeah, not so sure, So I hope that I didn't confuse you guys on this preliminary design report. I say it's under development phase. I say it's under planning phase. And some people say, is it under planning phase or development phase? Or the thing is confusing me. I hope not I hope this will make it a bit more clearer to explain to you. In terms of sometimes the client, when they want to refine the certain sections, they may still want to do development stage, in the planning phase. But if they are not sure yet, they still don't know whether it's a go ahead. You haven't said, you haven't heard them say yes, it's a go ahead. Then your development stage, the preliminary design report, the quantum of work, the level of effort that you put in will not be so high. Okay, you have to be very careful, because if you do put in a lot of effort, like months and months of things to do a preliminary design report, it will actually when it becomes like a no, this is not what we want, or this is not what we can afford now, KIV, then you will be crying actually. Then we'll move into phase 4. Okay, and this phase 4 is basically delivery. Okay, and in this delivery, I normally will split into what we call tendering, the actual procurement, the actual procurement phase and the construction phase. This is quite easy to understand now. Procurement phase will start off when you call for your tender. Here it will end when you prepare the tender documents, okay, or prepare to call for quotation. And when you call for quotation and people start to come back to you, this is already like activities going on already. This is the phase that you will select your contractors as well, okay, or your service provider. or your builders lah, whatever you call them lah, whichever industry that you are in. Then the construction phase will only start when the contract is signed. Site is handover. Okay. And your construction period will always be in the scheduling, you know, and all that. Yeah. So at these different phases of the project life cycle, you know, we do different things. Yeah. And then after that, you will, in the phase 5, you hand over. Okay. And then phase 6, we will do handover. Usually will mean things like testing, commissioning, warranty period, defect liability period. Then you'll be in the operation and maintenance. This phase is after you've given the project to the client. After the defect liability ends, you are off already. There is no more responsibilities from the contractor. So then you'll be put over the client themselves, or the end users will take over their own maintenance work. Can also be from the authorities as well. In Kuching, in Sarawak, our councils and all that will do the maintenance for the road, you know, and in some cases like rural water supply, rural roads and all that, some authorities like JKR, like JBUP, they will be doing the maintenance work. Yep. Or unless they sub it out, like hospital, they'll probably sub it up to different agency to carry out the maintenance work. So not necessarily done by the client themselves. More space here, but okay. So once the last phase, or phase 7, phase 8 down, we normally call it, it will be the end of the project. Or it's normally recycling, recycling, demolishing, change of purpose. And then we will definitely have this phase. This is like gone already, no more. This project is already gone. So this is close out, no more. Okay. So this is our project life cycle. Okay. So execution, this is the actual construction delivery, testing, commissioning. Yep. All right. So the rest of them is mainly a lot of theories on you know, the different intensities. A lot of things are done different. I mean, a lot of things are different intensity, different level of intensity, different level of cost, staffing, and all that on the project itself. Just these are all very theoretical stuff. So basically, from the chart that I give you here, we will go through scope management. So this bit here up to say around this region, this region, I would say, this region here, we are looking into scope management. But scope management, in the controlling of the scope, in the delivery of the scope, this is under project. So scope planning is under this section. Scope delivery is under this section. Scope controlling and monitoring is all under this section as well. So next week, we will proceed with scope management. Okay. And then I will go into a lot more detail on what we actually do to come up with the scope of work, to actually maintain the scope of work, to look into value engineering and LCC. And Dr. Lee will also cover things like economics of how you calculate the benefit and cost of the product itself, and whether it's beneficial or whether it's a go ahead or not. Yeah, I mean, this is going to be a big topic. But now for us to understand, we will come back to this chart again and again for you to see how we are using the knowledge at different stages of the project life cycle. Okay, so project scope management is something that is the first thing that we will embark onto. Of course lah, because how to manage time, cost, quality if you don't even know your scope of work, correct now? Okay, and we will also start. I think next week I will brief you on the on the project already, so that you get an early start to the project to get ready. Project, I think we will do it by group work, and from the numbers of students available, I think we can do a group of 2 to 3 lah, if you want to lah, huh? And I will brief you a little bit more on that lah, huh? And on how to do the project next week, okay? And what is the expectation from the project? The project will be about 30 marks, if I'm not wrong, 30 or 40 marks out of the whole, 30 or 40 marks, if I'm not wrong, out of the whole entire marking system of the, I think it's 30 lah, 30 lah, yeah. I need to double check. I need to talk to Dr. Lee about this. We haven't really finalized on the project and the assignments that we want to give to you guys. So I will brief you guys next week on that as well. And yeah, I think that's all. And for project life cycle, we've covered all this. And just take a read of the notes. These are some of the, these are already all the summary involved of what we have went through today. And then some of the things that we need to take note when we are doing our scope management, and also what are the life cycle, you know, what at which stages of the life cycle we have different activities that we need to do, and how the project life cycle have different intensities. At certain time, you know, the risk is higher at the beginning of the project, and then the cost is lower, but then it will increase, you know. It's just about money and time, risk and all that over the period of the project. It's about the intensity of level of effort that we are putting in for the project. Okay. So this management processes group basically is what we have actually went through the other day. Dr. Lee went through with you. That is the management function, whereby every processes there is a beginning, and then we went through the planning, organizing stage, and then the execution stage, the monitoring and controlling, and then we finished that process. So basically for, let's say, scope management, the process will be beginning of the project, there's a need and demand. We capture that needs and demand. We initiate to find out, to create that scope of work. Then we will start to go into the conceptualization, which is the planning processes. And then we will also look into the resources needed, the technical data needed and all that. And then we will come up with the scope of work, which is up to this stage, the planning stage. And then the execution stage is whereby we actually execute, we actually do the scope of work. And that is what we call the delivery phase of the project. So these two phases here, plan initiation, planning, and also organizing, is actually under the conceptualization phase of the project life cycle. Execution and controlling will be under the delivery phase, and the closing up will be the handing over bit. So this is how we try to merge the management processes with the project life cycle, with the body of knowledge. Okay, so in initiation phase, basically is always about definition, is always about client's requirement, expectations, you know. And then after that, we create the we plan and create the scope of work, you know, like I said, the scope example, time is going to be like the schedule and all that. So we actually plan out the process, the plan out the course of actions and all that. Like cost, this planning stage will be about the budget, okay? Risk, it will be about the risk management plan that will be coming out from the planning stage, okay? And then the delivery phase is about the execution phase is about the delivery. You're about controlling, you're about doing the work, execution, using the budget, doing the using up the resources and all that. That is about the execution, and of course controlling. Okay, so these are just theory, just the things that generally we do in the different phases of the project life cycle. It is like the same parallel thing, like you have one side the project life cycle, one side the management execution, the management processes. They are all supposed to merge together into one line so that we can deliver the project within the scope, within the time, within the cost, within the quality that are required. Yeah. Okay, anything else that you want me to go through? These are just notes that I will also take another look at those notes and see whether we can actually revamp it a little bit to make it a lot easier for you to understand before I post it up on Monday. My notes, I will usually post it up Monday or Tuesday after the class. Any questions so far? Like I said, management processes is just like the management control cycle, the management functions, the planning, organizing, leading, controlling, and all that. These are the same thing, okay? Same thing. It's just that when we apply to the project life cycle, we want to make sure that we are actually running these processes on a body of knowledge, such as scope, such as schedule, such as time, such as budget, such as quality, such as procurement, such as contract, and these processes will be repetitive. It will be repeating itself. It's just exactly like the management function as well. It will be repeating itself over the body of knowledge so that we can guide our resources towards the end product. That's what we are looking at, actually. Okay. All right. Are you guys still okay? Are you guys still alive? Any questions you want to ask me? Anyone else want to do the QR code? There's 7 here. Anyone wants to do manual QR or the actual QR code? I think for those who didn't attend the classes, I will also post up this recording. No, I've recorded all the lecture already at the moment. I think so. I think I have. The recording is ongoing, right? Yeah, it's in progress. So what we do is we will post this recording onto, I will process it onto a YouTube link, and then I'll put the link in YouTube. You just have to click on the YouTube link, and then you can listen back to any part of the lecture that you want if you're not clear. Especially those people, I know we've got a Chinese student here. I'm not sure which is his. Is Lin Ziyuan? Lin Ziyuan, are you from China? Which is the Chinese students we have here?
Yes, I come from China.
Oh, you're from China. Okay, okay. Have you come to Malaysia before?
No, I never go there, and I always stay in China for a long time.
Okay. Am I talking too fast for you? Do you catch what I'm trying to say? Do you understand my language here with you?
Yes, yes, I can understand.
Okay. So if you do have problem understanding some part of the lecture, I will in eLeap later, I will post up this whole recording. This whole lecture are being recorded. So you can go up to the lecture and you can, if one part you don't understand, you try to find that part and you can listen back to the recording.
Okay.
Okay. You can talk to me or Dr. Lee if you have any issue on these subjects. No problem. We are here to help.
Okay.
We understand that maybe sometimes our accent, the way we talk, our English is a bit different from your English in China. So we are trying to get used to each other's like listening and understanding. But I think you have got quite a good spoken English, so should be okay. But it's just that I hope your listening Am I talking too fast with you and all that? Yeah, you just let me know lah, yeah. Any other questions from any other people? So we have got 12 students all attended already. Do we have 12 students? I think we have got 12 students if I'm not wrong. Let me check. Nick Man, I already sent a message to Dr. Ling house. I think she should be aware of your situation. You have to try to get yourself registered. Otherwise, until the end of the semester, you attend one semester of class, you sit for exam, then we don't have a result for you, you know. Because your name is not being registered in the courses, so there will be no generation of result for you. So make sure that you all have registered for the course, not just registered as a student. If your name already appear on QR code, normally you have done the right thing already. Because these systems, they are linked together actually. How come I don't have the attendance? Yeah. It's appear here, it doesn't appear there. It's a bit weird today. Yeah, so I think only this Kama Amira, well, she's not here today. Is Kama, are you here, Kama? So present. So if you see your name already on this QR attendance list, the system is already linked together. So most likely that you have already done the right thing. Okay, I'm not sharing my screen. Okay, very smart. Okay, so you see your names are all here already. This is in the present one, means you clock in already. So you see, if your names are all here, it means that you have done the registration of the course properly. Otherwise, it wouldn't appear on the QR, you see. And I think for Nick Man's case, you have to check. So that means we have about 13 or 14 students altogether. The 14, including Nick Man, should be 14. Okay, yep. And Kama is not here. Kama, are you here? If you're here, you want to do your registration, your QR? No? We will record all the lecture, but I do strongly also recommend everybody to attend the classes because it's a direct contact. We already have very minimum contact with one another because you are doing it online and some of you are still overseas at the moment. So it's better for us to come to classes so that we can communicate, we can see each other. And then if you need to ask me anything, I will, go through it. It's a lot easier to go through it with you than going back to the recording. Recording, sometimes you need to search for the right segments to listen to, you see. So it can be a bit, it is just plan B lah. Recording is just a plan B. So I do encourage everybody to properly come to classes and do a proper session with us. So next week I will be moving straight into, there's no more introduction, no more talking about the theoretical stuff of project management and project life cycle. We already understand what this is all about. And I know a lot of you are civil engineers and a lot of you are all related to civil engineering, like mechanical and chemical and all that. I think you all are fine. So I think I know how to process the lecture in terms of which direction we will go through. Ling Ziyuan, are you a civil engineer? Which engineering background are you from?
Sorry, is after my university background.
Yes. What is your bachelor? Bachelor of what? Your basic degree.
My basic degree is not about the engineering management. It's just about material science and engineering.
Okay. So you are from material science. So you will likely be working in places like factory manufacturing and all that. Am I right?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. It's fine. I mean, I just need to know what type of engineers are you, because I'm a civil engineer and many of them here are actually civil engineer. So we deal a lot with construction. So I don't want to give too many construction example. Then you all will be a bit, some of you like Amira and in manufacturing, and yourself, if you're from manufacturing materials and all that, you'll be a bit like not sure what I'm talking about because I'm talking about construction, you see. So I want to make sure that everybody understand the lecture, because we have a lot of people from different industries. Okay. So good. And Shasha, there's one more person, Shasha. Which industry are you from, Shasha?
QT surveyor.
Oh, QS. Okay, so you're also from construction, so you're quite easy to understand construction, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, fine. Did I miss out on anybody? Ibrahim, you are our student, so I know you. You are from Unimas last time, so you must be a civil engineer.
Yeah, I'm civil engineer.
Okay. All right. Okay, so I think that's all from us today. So next week we will do scope management, followed by a session on assignment. And there's about 14 of you, so I think a group of 2 to 3 is fine. So start to know your friends, how to split yourself into groups, because we will be embarking on our project next week, a project that you need to do, okay, with one another as a group project. And I will explain on the requirement of the project and what you need to hand in next week, okay? I think that's all from me. Any other questions? All right. If not, then have a good weekend. I'm sure you have another class at 3 o'clock, right?
Yes, doctor.
All right. Okay, so go and take yourself a break and then start the next class. Like I say, all these classes, I will not do full 3.5 hours. So what I will do is, with the extra time that I have, I will prepare some pre-recorded lecture for you to make the knowledge more robust, huh? All right, see you guys.
Thank you, doctor.
Thank you, doctor.
Thank you, doctor.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, doctor. Thank you for all kind support and also the lectures. Thank you.
Thank you, Nickman. You go and check. I'm concerned about you. Okay.
You don't need to worry about me, doctor. I will do my best to
Yeah, I think try to get the registration of the courses done. Are you taking all the subjects, or you're just taking some of the subjects?
I'm taking all the subjects.
Okay, so I think because now I'm pretty sure today, tomorrow, you need to pay $200 already because you are already late. Okay, but the problem is now is that I'm not sure whether today you can't pay and show CGS that you already paid the $200. So I think there will be some issues there. I hope it's not fully closed yet. Let me try to find the file. Yeah, so supposed to be last week, Monday until today, I think is you delay you need to pay $200 for you to do late registration. Maybe new student don't need to pay. You need to check with Dr. Lim. Okay, so if you need to pay, then you need to pay UBS first, and after you pay UBS, then you take the payment and you show to CGS, and CGS will open the system for you again to register for the courses. Okay.
Okay, understood, doctor. Later I will contact CGS.
All right.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Bye bye.